She was the minister's sister of the church.
New information tonight as a massive white-collar fraud case involving a state representative, numerous local businesses, and the leader of a church moves forward. Good evening, everybody. Momentum builds for what will probably be the largest white-collar fraud case in our area's history.
Dozens of new charges were filed last week against Ohio State Representative Peter Beck and his business partners, all allegedly involved in the scheme. As the details emerge, they paint a bizarre portrait of one person in particular, the leader of a local church, and she's someone Rich Jaffe has been telling us about for 2 decades. Rich joins us now from the newsroom with a story you'll see only on Local 12 News. Rich.
Cami, the church is located on Eastern Avenue at Heekin, right below Mount Lookout. It's run by a woman named Janet Combs. 20 years ago, we did the first stories on a different church run by Combs called the New Burlington Fellowship. Some former members, including her own daughter, called that a cult. Now the Ohio Attorney General is describing her current church the same way.
The quaint old church in Linwood has been a fixture in this community since the late 1800s, but it's now the church leader, Janet Combs, who's in the spotlight. Combs and her now-deceased husband, Tom Lysaght, were once the focus of a magazine article because they'd bought a castle overlooking the church. Combs currently lives in Hyde Park, but no one appeared to be home when I knocked on the door. She normally avoids the spotlight, possibly because in the new indictment, prosecutors and investigators say her church is a cult. One of her indicted co-conspirators is State Representative Peter Beck.
So she was the minister's sister of the church.
Combs, Lysaght, Warren County State Representative Pete Beck, and a number of other business partners and companies are all facing dozens of fraud charges and securities violations. For his part, Beck told us in an exclusive interview in October of 2012 that rather than a conspirator, he's a victim.
I feel that I was used in this whole process, that I was taken advantage of, just like everybody else. I think that they see me, my name out there, making assumptions that because I knew Tom Lysaght, that I provided some services in the past in my other company for Ark By The River, that I was more involved in his affairs than I was.
Beck allegedly used his political position and status to lure investors into spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on largely bogus startup companies through a company called TML Consulting. TML was Tom Lysaght. More than $650,000 of those dollars allegedly went to fund the church run by Lysagh's wife, Janet Combs. While Beck was the accountant for Lysaght, TML, and periodically the church, he told us he doesn't know anything about the church and the money.
Any idea how tens of thousands of dollars of TML money ended up funding Ark By The River?
I have no knowledge of that. I have an answer.
Janet Combs' attorney tells me he expects that she will turn herself into the authorities in the next few days before her arraignment. There is a possibility the huge number of charges listed in these new indictments are going to be rolled into the case already filed against Beck and his business partner, John Fussner. Attorneys in that case say they already have more than 100,000 pages of documents in discovery. Cami?
And of course, we know you'll be following this for us, right, Rich?
Absolutely, Cami. We will be on it every chance that we get in trying to bring some light into these very interesting issues.
All right, good enough, Rich. Thank you. And in the case already on file against Pete Beck and John Fussner, they have both entered pleas of not guilty.